taking practice swings in like the kitchen while I'm cooking is like, fuck,
oh God.
yeah. Oh, I shit myself. Oh God.
Yeah.
You know, so
exactly.
Welcome, Nerd Chatter, a weekly podcast where we discuss stories throughout the week from the film, gaming, and tech industries. I'm joined today by my good buddy Kenny. What a minute.
What up, sir? Thanks for having me on again.
On this week's show, tech companies laying off thousands, and we nerd out a good bit on EA PGA Tour gameplay trailer that just dropped yesterday. Before we get going, depending on what platform you're listening on, make sure to follow or hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, hit us with that like as well. And EA PGA Tour, what'd you think?
Ooh, I'm excited. Brings me back to my childhood.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you still golf?
Oh yeah, I still golf. I pretty much go to the range at least once a week.
Yeah,
I live right next to one.
I mean, being up in Washington, I don't have the courses
Luxury.
around me like I do back home. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, because for those who don't know, I'm from SoCal, like, you know, Disneyland-ish area, not OC, but IE. And, you know, so is Kenny, and so is Lucas, and, you know, other buddies and stuff. And grew up golfing, started golfing when I was 8, competed in high school. I met Kenny's brother on the ranges of Citrus College, little punk ass. Thinking he was all dope and shit.
I don't know about little, but yeah.
I remember
He's a punk ass.
Every Wednesday me and my mom, we'd go to the range over at Citrus. This little shit would be over there hitting balls, and he always wanted to compete. He always wanted to have some type of little competition.
Of course, that's our family trait of just competition, and nothing is for fun.
You know, like, you know, to quote Logan Paul, Nat, you're bothering me. You know, that's basically,
Yeah.
He's always talking shit, you know.
Yep.
And we competed. His grandpa like ran the little pro shop there, or your grandpa, and then
Yeah.
you know, it was a weekly thing, and from there, you know, we kind of went to different schools, but we both got into like the
I mean,
junior
technically, you were in
tournaments.
like the same league, right?
We were in the
Like,
same league.
high school league,
We
yeah.
whooped their ass so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we shit down Azusa so hard. You know, I mean, yeah, we were in the same league, and we didn't play with one another. We played against one. I mean, we're opponents,
Right.
and you know, we were both the same. We were both like the guy that could hit it like really far.
Mm-hmm.
That was like our roles. We were the big hitters. We were the boots. You know, so you know, we have him and I at least had history in that regard of competing, and then eventually, you know, we worked at the same golf course together for like fucking almost a decade and shit. And I remember your brother was standing behind the counter when I went in to get my application and shit, or my interview. But you know, we worked at the course. Same thing with Lucas. I got Lucas a job at the course. So we're all golfers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Luke. I mean, to a certain extent, I guess, you know, some of us are competition level golfers who went out and tried like pro tours and amateur tours, and we're doing professional teaching. I myself taught for a while there, and your brother, I think, teaches or taught.
Taught for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it was always kind of a goal to go through the PGA program, and you know, once you learn how much that is and the dropout rate of that thing, it's a 50% dropout rate in the first like 1/3 of the course or whatever. So like,
yeah, it's tough because like you got to go through all your classes and then like travel out to wherever Florida and then do some more testing out there, and then you know.
Yeah, so basically, for those who don't understand, Class A PGA professional is an individual who's certified by the PGA themselves as being like, you know, when it comes to teaching.
Basically,
I was taught
capable of teaching.
Yeah, as a person that they have the lapel, they have the PGA Tour lapel on their collar. They're the ones you pay $100 to $200 an hour to get lessons from. That's what I got taught from. You know, Bob Sathers in Southern California, taught by him for like 5 or 6 years, and super expensive, but you know, it's the type of teaching that you need to be able to compete at a certain level and try to go pro and all of that. But you know, my feet being all fucked up, that was a pipe dream. Well, it always was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not being able to walk 4 days straight is kind of detrimental when you're trying to be a pro golfer. So,
right.
Regardless, you know, growing up and him and I being on like the teams, you know, high school and stuff, that PGA Tour, Tiger Woods PGA Tour was like the shit back then, right?
Yeah.
And like my thing was every day when we had practice or we had tournaments every day throughout our season, our golf season. So what I would do is I was like 18 minutes or 16 minutes before leaving for school, I would fire up PGA Tour and I'd run through. I'd shotgun 18 holes like super fast.
Okay.
I remember by the time that I was like done doing that, I was averaging at least 1 hole in 1 per round. Like insane. I was at like 24 under and shit, you know, like stupid scores. But it was just like, it was just like beat into my system where it's like, this is video gaming. Like this is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, people who don't follow that, I mean, I apologize, this is probably incredibly boring, but like people who don't follow like PGA Tour, Tiger going doing some fucked up shit, you know, cheating on his woman and shit, getting his car beat up with a fucking golf club, losing Gatorade as a sponsor, losing Buick, like, you know, like losing all these sponsors, Rolex gone, you know, or Tag Heuer, I should say, you know, he got dropped by EA, I think. I think he was probably aging out, and then they wanted Rory in there, Rory McIlroy. So in 2016, I think it was, they released Rory McIlroy's PGA Tour, and it was bad. Kenny, did you play that game?
No, I didn't. I think I stopped right when Tiger got dropped, or they mutually, whether it was mutually parted ways or what have you. But
probably on paper, yeah. But like, with Rory, it was like, it's not because it wasn't Tiger. It was because the game felt like ass. Like it wasn't good. It wasn't even good for like kind of like the arcadey feel that you were starting to get in those later years of like PGA Tour and shit.
But even like the beginning, like 2007 or 8, whenever it first came out, like you could do some insanely absurd stuff on the golf course,
ice courses and shit,
and like extreme power up swings, and like hit the ball like 400 yards on the fly, like that's
it did have an arcade spin to it, you know?
Like dressing up in like sweats and like bucket hats, and
not as bad as 2K. 2K is like embarrassing where you're putting like with pink flamingos and shit, but like
you know, I hopped on like yesterday, and there's like a taco putter, and
embarrassing.
They have
they look bad,
a Happy Gilmore putter that doesn't look anything like
they have Odyssey. They have Odyssey in the game, don't they? Why don't they just?
I think so. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Like, what is going on, bro? Like, my complaint with it is you can't choose like the clubs you want. If I wanted to take an entire golf bag, dump out all the clubs, and replace all 14 with a 3-iron, I should be able to do that. But for some reason, the game had this thing where it was like you can't do what you want to do. You can't set your set.
You go up to a 5-iron and then hybrids.
Like, you know me, Kenny. I don't use hybrids. I had one hybrid for very particular circumstances. And that hybrid, I could hit as far as a 3-wood. So it replaced a 3-wood. And I had more sand wedges than I did woods, because when you have a 330-yard average, you don't need 3 woods very often. It's I'll just sit down and knock down 2-iron.
That's the same with me. Like, I went all the way down to 3-iron, and some, like, me and my dad were even talking about like me going down to a 2-iron.
Yeah.
But like the only reason why I have a hybrid in my bag is because I broke my 4-iron. So like I have a 4 hybrid.
Completely naturally, I'm sure.
And I hate the hybrid. But yeah, like I broke my 4-iron just because it's older. Like the adhesive, it was breaking.
It probably exploded under the sheer weight of your body. It can't stand a fucking 8'9" individual.
Over my birthday, I finally got my first actual like legit club fitting, and like my specs are pretty interesting.
Pretty fucked.
Yeah,
it's like was it 4 degrees up and shit?
Actually, no, my like that the angle of my lies and lofts were actually normal. Like there's no.
Well, you have extensions though, right?
I have an inch extension, and I think my shafts are like at a 125 instead of a 120. Like they're heavy.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, I won't even say like I just don't like the aspect of players being able to like adjust shit on the fly. And I know it's against the rules to do it mid-round. I think I haven't kept up. but I just once they went over to like adjustable heads and shit like that, I just wasn't able
Yeah.
to get that same feeling. It's not the same as like hitting a 983K, you know, like
Right.
it feels weird. It feels like something's not right, and then you just kind of accommodate it and get used to it.
Yeah,
but there
I
was
was
a big difference between the feels.
Yeah, I was watching like a Callaway video since they just started releasing all their new drivers and stuff, and they had John Rahm on, and he has like three drivers that he like can go from. He has like his normal gamer, and then like two other ones that he like mixes
Yeah.
and matches.
I mean, you remember
Everything.
when me and your brother were doing the, I mean, I don't know how long your brother did it, but when you're doing like the LDA shit, 'cause,
Yeah.
I mean, him and my brother, or his brother and me competed in Pinnacle World Long Drive. Just, you know, we had that ability. And
Yeah.
really, I mean, I only competed in a number of qualifiers, which every one that I was in, I got through, you know. And I got up to the finals, so not the finals, the pre-finals or something for like the world championship, the one that you would see on TV like on Christmas and shit. I went up to Arizona, you know, going through some like rough shit at the time, so it was like didn't know if I was going to keep doing it, and then got up to Arizona and I forget, I think it was the Oasis, and I competed in that long drive tournament, and I hit the longest drive of that entire tournament. And being out there with guys fucking your size, but like 3 times the muscle and screaming and spinning out of their toes and shit. And,
Right.
you know how I swung. It's like it just looked like a more aggressive regular golf swing. You know, nothing crazy, and you can generate that speed and that distance, not acting a fool. I get on people on Instagram. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you don't need to scream like that to hit it. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Shut up. Like, I hate it. I hate it. Like, keep your feet planted. Quit spinning out on your heels. Like, what is this shit? Like, you could hit it further if you didn't swing like an idiot. You know, they think that it looks cool and shit like that, yada yada. So they didn't really appreciate this little guy, and I'm, you know, being 6 foot tall, like little. This little guy coming out there and out driving everybody. I hit 442 yards, and you know, that's on the books. And I remember that it was like the guy that I was like competing against. You know, they're reading off his shit like it was the craziest shit, and
like
mine
like accolades.
like, oh, you know, and Donald 442. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, that's like the longest drive by like 15, 16 yards or something in this entire tournament. They barely announced it. And like people like trying to like bump me when I'm walking away and shit. I was like, all right, dude, I'm over this shit. So
exactly.
You know, I backed out of it, but shortly after that, you know, we did the whole just playing with the boys and then doing the competitions and the you know, Long Beach Open and you know, Pepsi Tour events and this and that and all that shit. And like
I remember those days. Those are very aggressive days for my brother. even more. 'Cause like I just remember he would always talk about like, you know, Pepsi Tour and going down to Long Beach and whatnot, and he would like come back just super pissed. He's like, I should have won the damn thing. God damn it! I missed like this putt and I missed this chip. And
I'm gonna be real. It's like, you know, I'm basing. We were pretty even. Him and I, in terms of performance level, were pretty even. I feel I had a longer drive. I'm sure he would attest to that.
Oh, yeah.
I think I had the average longer drive. He's a little more wild. His speed was like off the chain, but he had balloon shots.
Yeah, that's
you know?
me and my brother.
He put his size and weight into it, and the motherfucker had so much backspin that shit just decided to go vertical. Like,
I mean, I've had multiple drives where it just like it wasn't even like rainy or anything. Like the ground was soft, but like I would have drives that would just hit and stick. Like plug like right where it landed.
I forgot what it was. I forget what course I went with Ty, our buddy Ty.
Yep.
We went down. Daiwa was having because he was sponsored by Daiwa, and they were trying to market a prototype shaft to Tiger, and they had never accommodated somebody who swung that fast. So the only person that they could really get a hold of at the time, like on a short notice, was me, because I was like the only person that Ty knew that had like swing speeds like that. And I think your brother was like unavailable or something like that.
I mean, that sounds about right.
So I went down there with them and I tried it, and they gave me like $1,000 worth of equipment to have this driver built, and I still have it, I think.
Nice.
The shaft was slightly cracked and it remained that way like the entirety, but a video online of me hitting it like a decade ago. And I remember when I was on that TrackMan and they were giving me the data, my RPMs on my drives, the swing speed on average was 124 miles an hour, I think it was. 121 miles an hour, somewhere around there. And the RPMs for the ball was 3,800. So you remember how I used to get backspin off of like every single one of my drives?
That's pretty crazy.
It's insane because I didn't have the same lift off that your brother had, and you would assume that with the higher RPMs that's exactly what it would do. It'd be a low burner and high rise, right?
Right.
But mine, you remember my drives? They were just high, long, boring, and just with a slight draw. You know, I very much appreciated my old drives, but. You know, I digress. You know, we have a history with golf and a passion and stuff like that. Although moving up to Washington, I haven't had the ability to play anymore. And after leaving the course and my lower back essentially like fossilizing, I just can't swing the way that I can do. Like, taking practice swings in like the kitchen while I'm cooking is like oh god, oh shit myself, oh god, you know. So exactly. Like. It's like, you know, the only outlet that I get is golf games, bro.
Golf games, yeah.
Like, you know, and your boy has been starved for an EA game, you know, fucking EA Sports, you know, like I've been wanting that. And yeah, Tiger's not involved. I went out and when I bought the Xbox One, I bought Rory with it and I played it and it was gross. And then TCP, the golf club, TGC. And then TGC 19, played those, did not like them. There was a Jack Nicklaus game that came out. It was ass cheeks, did not like that one. 2K came out and it was essentially TGC 19. Am I wrong? Right. It is literally TGC 19 with some rebranding on it. And then 2K23, I didn't even bother just because I knew. And then hearing everything, how Course Builder has been like nerfed essentially because they're not giving them any love. Yeah. Courses aren't being able to be pulled over from 21. You know, just a bunch of issues. And then here comes EA out of the woodworks being like, we're going to release our own golf game again. Like, don't you remember?
Yeah, as soon as you hear like the murmurs, it's like, yo, don't be playing with me.
Well, was it? It wasn't when 21 got released. I think it was. Was it when 21 got released? When they made the announcement, it was like when they announced 2K23 is when you
something like that,
or But it was like a power move. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like, it was definitely like hold my beer kind of thing. I've been working on this for a little bit.
Like they might have even stepped back and been like, bro, putting the golfers is not enough to like sell this. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
no.
Here's what we got.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to go through here and we'll talk about what they got. And very impressive in my opinion. You know, we'll do a brief rundown on them. There is something I don't really care for, but you know, we'll get to it. There's a couple things I don't really care for. But the first gameplay trailer did drop yesterday on the 19th, recording this day early, by the way. They did announce a couple different changes in the mechanics, depending on what you're used to. I think you'd actually feel a little more comfortable coming from 2K23 rather than coming from like an older Tiger Woods game. They have something called Pure Strike, which features 20 different shot types, which is kind of crazy, Kenny. Like,
yeah,
I can't
because like in 2K, there's only like maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah, there's the basics, and that's pretty much it. And what this is saying, you know, when you're playing golf, you know, you come up with these names over time, but you know, you do have high flop, you have like, you know, zips, you have your Texas wedges, you know, that's one thing that I saw.
That's one thing them putting in and saying that, like Texas wedge, like
what it shows though is that they're acknowledging the fact that these swings and these approaches and techniques do different things.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, Kenny, how many times did you see me putt with a putter in 2K21?
So like when you and I would go back and forth, and I did it last night. I was literally on the green, and I flop the shot because that's way easier.
It is 100%. You have like a 95% accuracy
Yeah,
rate if you
like
just do the shortest flop when you're on the putting green.
100%.
You can game the game. You know what I mean? So like,
Yep.
that's the thing is, well, I mean, you can 100% by rule of golf. You can take out a wedge and you can chip on the green. If you damage the green, you just replace the divot and you move on. There's no penalty. There's no nothing.
Yep. And you've seen it in like PGA, but like it's the like unspoken rule, like, oh my god, he did this on the green. It's like, yeah, well, it's allowed.
Well, you watch, the early U.S. Opens and shit. That was just a thing because they didn't mark their balls. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
What's that movie? The Greatest Game Ever Played. That's like a thing in there, right? He has to like volley it over.
I think it was just recently done though. Like, I forget who it was, but they like you see it every once in a while because they got to go over like a
something that's they can't,
a ledge or a sprinkler head. Or something. Well,
the thing is like in 2K, you're pulling out a putter and you're just making do off the fringe, but it's like a Texas wedge is a different approach to that. You know what I mean? My fringe side putting was rare. I really liked my little wedge bumps.
Right.
But when I did, I locked left arm straight and I would raise my left shoulder, and then I would drag back with my right hand with full control, and then putt through it. And for some reason, it worked super well. It got me like a little bit of height right off the bat.
Right.
And it allowed for me to control the distance a little bit more when it came to those green sides. So, just pointing that out, that there's different, there's an abundance of different shots. I saw Stinger in there. I'm pretty stoked. I've seen Stinger before and it's never been done right.
So let's hope, I would say if 50% of these to 75% of these shots like actually do exactly what they're supposed to do, like I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah, like they feel appropriate
with that.
when they work.
Like, and there's like, I mean, obviously, like someone's gonna find something and exploit something.
Your boy gonna be doing, crazy shit.
It is what it is. Like that's
bunkers because
that's the video game.
100% accuracy if I bank it off the the lip of the bunker and shit.
Yeah, if I put just enough backspin.
It is what it is. Yeah, hey, it is what it is. That's the way of golf.
Yep.
So there's that. And then with that, it's powered by TrackMan and ShotLink data. So
yeah, I'm excited about that. Like seeing TrackMan and
real
all that, like
names.
Real TrackMan.
TrackMan cost you $35,000. I'm not sure what it is now, but back in the day, a TrackMan device would cost you $35,000. It took proprietary software, and it was no fucking around. You know what I mean? Like,
it's probably not that expensive now, just because like it's. I mean, we could probably dig deeper.
Well,
into that,
we'll talk about it later. But like, when it comes down to it, it's an incredibly expensive piece of technology. I forget what it's like using LiDAR or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it's using. But
I don't know.
It's picking up trajectory of a moving object in the air for 400 yards. It's like insane. You know what I mean? So, to pick up that data, swing data, I think it's ShotLink, right? Is the one that tracks the shot, and then the TrackMan is what picks up all your ball speed and the
trajectory,
the trajectory and swing speed, impact speed, ball speed, that type of thing. So like, for those names to be attached to it, we're talking about real deal Holyfield here and shit. This is good shit. And with those two things, the different shot types and the TrackMan ShotLink integration, they're touting fluid swing mechanics, innovative ball behavior, and lifelike course dynamics. So the lifelike course dynamics is what I consider to probably be one of the hangups with their whole like custom course maker, is because what I perceive that lifelike course dynamics is that they paid a lot of attention about the differences between how the same drive lands on on the center of fairway number 1 of Torrey Pines South compared to the number 3 hole at fucking Augusta. You know what I mean? Like, there's a dramatic difference between those grasses, the firmness of the soil, like the air density, the wind, everything. So I think they focused a lot on making sure that each course specifically felt like how that course is supposed to feel, which I mean for us is like, that's what we're all about and shit.
Oh yeah.
However, it might have been what caused issues with people being able to kind of make their own courses. It's like, how do you dictate that? Do you remove that ability and just kind of make it one stagnant
Yeah, one
option.
dimensional. Yeah.
You know, and then there's the innovative ball behavior, which means that the ball is going to be bouncing off trees appropriately instead of having like a 5-foot radius,
Right.
you know,
Or like,
hitbox around it.
yeah, hitting rocks, hitting.
Praying to God we get some collision with you know, audience members and shit, the crowd and shit. We need that back in our lives. Come on now, come
Hit
on
off
now.
someone's forehead, then like launches back.
It's the only thing that makes it okay to hit like an OB or like to like hook it. It's like, at least I hit somebody.
Yeah.
It's like that was always the good thing with,
All right,
with EA.
I got a good reaction.
Yeah, knock that old dude on his ass. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like as long as they got some attention to that. I saw a ball hit like the fringe coming out of the rough, and you could see it specifically make like a slight like 10-degree adjustment and bounce, you know, so it did affect where the ball was moving, which, I mean, hey, when you're playing golf, that's what it is, you know. You kind of send it out there exactly where you want it, but really it's still up to the course to decide whether or not it's going to give you that shot. You know,
exactly.
So, like you're playing the course, you know, you're playing yourself in the course. So like, that's nice to see. Like, I like that. I saw the ball bounce off the tree. It sounded right. You know, it looked right. It felt right. So I'm thinking, you know, you might be able to do some bank shots off of trees and walls and shit like that again, which would always be nice. That was always the fun thing in like EA.
Now all they just got to announce if they're doing like course builder.
No, they're not. I saw it. I have that in here too, but yeah, there was an interview with like the main game developer, and he's like,
"Damn,
no, we don't have any plans to either." Hopefully, I mean, there could be a DLC for $10 later down the line where they open that up. I'd be totally down.
Oh yeah,
fine with me. Next one on here was the fluid swing mechanics.
Yep.
Which, I mean, you know, that was my thing, right? Was just, I don't care what it is. I just need one. I need one of these games to look legit, like an actual golf swing. You know what I mean?
In the trailer, were they saying that you can actually build your swing?
I didn't see that.
Or was it just that they got like multiple pros and like people of the industry and like choreographed their swing and like took all the data?
I believe they did that, and they'll probably give you kind of like 2K with NBA.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I can switch.
They're going to give you some shot like
to Katie's, you know, fadeaway, and I can have, you know, LeBron's jumper and shit. You know, like
you're going to have
might be able to do that.
You're going to have John Rahm's, you know, driver swing and
and then, you know,
Rory's
maybe like
approaches and
his approaches, and then, you know, maybe like some weird fucked up like Jim Furyk like backswing.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, you know, like
I wasn't gonna go there, but
maybe you could do something, you know, whatever. But like it really looked like they just took some pros, mapped out their swings, and if anything, they're probably gonna let you choose between that. But I don't really care, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything looked good to me. I was never really too much about like the clothes. However, and we'll get into that in a second, there is probably something to lend credence to that. There might be a custom, you know, a character focus around it. But first, can confirm Titleist is confirmed in this game.
Yeah, that was I was like one of the first things I noticed.
I noticed it too.
Like, one of the golf balls rolling into the hole. They panned on and slowed down
specifically.
To show that it was Titleist.
Oh, that's Pro V. I was like, that's Pro V. And then you know, putting it on here, pre-order for the deluxe edition, which the price for this fucking game is $70 for the standard version. It's not $60.
It's gone up. All the games have gone up now, but
not a fan. If I'm not buying anything physical, fuck off with that price hike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's just across the board, just to accommodate, like, fuck that. Like, I don't have a hard copy. I shouldn't be paying the full price. I'm not paying for production and shit. I'm the one downloading this shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But $69.99 for the standard, and then $84.99 for the deluxe edition. Couldn't even just make it 80, greedy fucks.
Yeah.
But what that pre-order deluxe edition gets you is 3-day early access, and then early access to Augusta National. This is featuring a limited time online tournament, which would be interesting because it would be fresh for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's been 6 years or whatever, 7 years since they released a PGA game. So it would be like fresh. Everybody just go out there and kind of go ham and have fun. And then on top of that, PGA Tour XP bundle. There's probably some like boosters and shit like that. That's what it sounds like. There's a definitive line on this graph, but just underneath the line, there's a dope ass Masters gear featuring a Masters Pro bag, which looks dope. That staff bag looks hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And it also has the leather head cover.
Hey, even the player's bag looks good.
Oh, the one, yeah, that one actually looks way better.
That nice, that nice
like
navy blue and yellow. Yeah,
yeah, it had like a black tint on, like a black secondary color on it. Yeah, so they got it right. The Grand Slam gear bundle, for those who don't understand, Grand Slam is when you win all of the Masters in the same year. The Tiger Slam is when you win all the Masters, all the majors
in
the same year. And then the Tiger Slam is when you win 4 majors in a row that's not in the same year. That's what happened when Tiger won 4 majors in a row back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
you know,
they're like just completely unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, he was just getting ramped up too at that point. But like,
oh yeah,
you know, Grand Slam before that, I think Jack had it right, and then it was a matter of in the same year, like 2023, you win every single major, and then the year's up and you have the Grand Slam. But like I said, the Tiger Slam is like, I think he won 1 major in 1 year and then 3 majors in the next. So they didn't want to call it, you know, the Grand Slam.
But he was his name was the last person on each trophy.
You got to make sure. Remember that they treated Tiger pretty fucking dirty back in the day. So for the usual reasons. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Up until like just years before Tiger even played at the Masters, they didn't even let African Americans on the course, unless as like specific types of employees and shit. Same thing with women. So that's you know, we're not too far separated from that Georgia boy shit.
Yeah.
However, this golf Grand Slam gear bundle has like shirts, balls, ball markers. I think it's a ball marker, which is kind of weird, but you know, we'll see what's up. The one that excites me the most on here is a Scotty Cameron putter. Looks like I don't know, kind of looks like a few years old in terms of model style, but I'm not really up to date. I see more, you know, custom shop designs than anything these days, just because of like social media and fucking the emails I get from like Vokey and Scotty and shit. Like, shut the fuck up. I just unsubscribed from Vokey yesterday, and I kind of like paused on it. It's like, I've had this newsletter for like 20 years or some shit, like 15 years. I was like, fuck it, I'm sick of these emails. But Scotty's in there. That's my jam, man. That's my fucking thing. It's like, I don't give a shit if Titleist clubs are in it. Just give me Scotty. Scotty is in this game, and I'm loving it. Next one is the 1500 premium PGA Tour points, which I'm sure you can spend on all kinds of goodies that'll have their own real world money.
You get 1 sleeve of golf balls.
It's 1500 premium points. That's the equivalent of $15. Would you like to make another purchase?
The next gotcha game.
Yeah. And then the player's gear, which is I can't read it. It's so small, but it just looks like it says gear, but all it shows is a player's
staff bag,
a staff bag, which like he said looks hard as fuck. It looks super good. Would feel like an absolute fool if I walked up to a course with that.
I would assume it's the same as like the Masters gear bag, which has like head covers and maybe there's
so, I mean, other. We gotta point out the fact that if they're showing off bags and they're showing off head covers, right? It means there's got to be caddies. It was that in when the first trailer dropped. I forget. Wasn't there caddies in it?
I would have to go back, but I think so. But I also think like with all these like putters and stuff coming out and like things like that, like I would really hope that they go back to the like they actually change your attributes of your golfer.
Yeah, more of like your scale type thing and be able to customize.
Because like 2K has that to a certain extent, but it's very limited. Very limited.
I mean, it doesn't carry over as much in like real world scenarios, but players have a very preferred. And when I taught my students, it's like, you can't look at my swing and be like, you know, that's what my swing should look like. It's like, my 100%. Swing probably shouldn't even look like that. You know, like the
exactly. I gotta fix my swing too. Yeah.
No, it's like, you know, my shit's based off of fucking, you know, taking John Daly and mixing it with Fred Couples. Like, that was what my instructor taught me on. Tiger was barely in the scene when I started getting lessons, you know, 97, 98. So, like, you know, his swing was in there, but it wasn't like the shit, you know what I mean? It was Fred Couples. Let's not scoff at Fred Couples.
Just swing easy.
Smoothest swing you'll ever see in your life, and that's what you aspire to be. Dude shot like 60 or something like recently, didn't he? He shot like something fucking stupid.
He's still lighting it up on the Legends Tour, whatever it is now.
Yeah, like he shot some
Senior
insane
Tour.
score like not too long ago, and like Tiger had to like call him and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But like, it's like, you want the ability to manipulate. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where they just let you kind of scale. Okay, so here's where the top of my swing is, and here's what my impact's going to look like, and here's where my 9 o'clock is, my 3
Right.
o'clock, and my finish. Here's where I want my shoulder to be at the end, and here's where I
No,
want
but
it to be at the top.
I think that they can, like you were saying with like basketball game, like even the show like NBA or MLB, like the show has like this, and it has like all the people in the game their swings, but it also has like 50 generic swings that you can
Yeah.
kind of tweak a little bit to.
Next one on there was the course builder. No course builder. Focus said be made on courses in the majors, which I understand.
Yeah.
Give me multiplayer. I'm alright.
Yeah, give
I
me a
guess.
good multiplayer and like big tournaments or just like head to head.
It just sucks that we're not going to have an
rank
outlet
system.
for mini golf. Yeah, like you and I are going to play some 2K after we're done recording here.
Yeah,
and do some drinking and some mini golfing, and see what was left over when 2K23 dropped, because we don't have 21, or we don't have 23. We have 21.
Yeah.
Our next one on here is the confirmed courses, and I'll run through this without trying to drill too much. Augusta
this
National,
is a list.
huge. Again, huge. This is our third game, I think, with Augusta National, maybe fourth. Played it and it was fun. I think Bubba said that he used it to win the Masters. He played the game like crazy before to practice, like, because it was all done by like aerial shit.
Yeah.
The trees were exactly where the trees were, and the fairways were the exact width and the length and everything. It's picturesque, Moving on, the old course, St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, been there. The Country Club, Southern Hills Country Club. I thought that was South Hills when I saw it.
I know.
I was like, that dog shit golf course? It's not that bad, actually. It's all right. TPC Sawgrass, what up? Evian Resort, East Lake Golf Club, Wilmington Country Club, TPC Boston, TPC Southwind, Tea of the Dog. Never heard of it.
Never heard of that.
I think I saw a tournament with like a name of that. I'm going to look into that.
Can't wait to
TPC
play-
Scottsdale.
Yeah, I can't wait to play this course.
What was it, number 16?
Something like that. Whatever the stadium,
That's
part
Scottsdale,
3.
right?
Yeah, that's
I think
Scottsdale.
It's the Phoenix Open. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the waste management.
Yes, much better name and shit. The waste management tournament.
Whatever.
Where Tiger fucking drained it in front of fucking millions of people and was just like raising the roof and shit. What a sick individual, getting a fucking hole in one on that hole.
I think there's been like 10.
I mean, that's what started the growth of that whole thing. Was just like, okay, maybe this hole has a little bit extra potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, TPC Scottsdale, they hold that tournament there. Number, I think 16 is a par 3. I think it's only like 154 yards, or
I think I got the
max.
max.
It's a pitching wedge. It's a 9 iron, or like it's like something small. You know what I mean? So like it's a small hole, but they line it completely with the stadium. They erect a stadium. They erect a stadium around the whole entirety. It used to be one bleacher, then 2 bleachers, then eventually it just became literally.
Now
stadium.
it's literally the whole
surrounded.
Court, or whole hole.
It's like the only hole in golf where they encourage people to be loud and crazy and shit like that.
Yep.
So people try to get hole-in-ones, try to stiff it, and it's just a good time. It's a good vibe on that shit. That's where all the crazy drunk assholes go.
Super drunk.
Super drunk.
I think you see security just like kicking people out all the time.
It'd be like some beer cans flying across the fairway when they make like good shots and shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Tara Edie Golf Club. I have no idea what that is. Whistling Straits. What up?
That's going to be a fun course.
Liberty National Golf Club. I've heard of that. Isn't that the one in New York? I might be wrong. Bay Hill. What up?
Nice.
And Lodge. What? The Riviera Country Club.
There you go.
Hell
okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I got invited to play Riviera, but I did not play Riviera.
I think my dad has played. He was also a marshal for the Nissan Open back then.
I went to a tournament there. It might have been the Nissan Open, but I remember walking in the entryway for the tournament was at the bottom of hole number 1. So you know what hole number 1 is. You're like staring down a cliff and shit. I remember I'm walking and they bring up the ropes so we couldn't cross the fairway, and then here comes fucking Freddie
Yep.
with his hands in his pockets, leaning back, moseying along like he had not a care in the fucking world.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I was like, that's my hero right there. But I remember that distinctly. It was like they had like games and shit set up. So you could play like PGA Tour. We had tents for, I forget what business. We had some tent. We can go in there and have free food and shit. But we had that treatment a few times.
Nice. Yeah.
Not too bad. PGA West.
Yeah.
Oh my memories. Quail Hollow. Torrey Pines.
Shot my best round of golf there.
Was that your brother's wedding?
My brother's wedding, yeah.
Yeah, that was the last time I like golfed the full 18 holes.
Yeah.
It was literally like the last. I lived in San Diego for a bit, and people who live in San Diego and golf, it might still be this way, but if you go to the course, you ask about their membership, it's super cheap. It's like $15, $20.
Discount, yeah.
Yeah, locals dicks and
Yep, locals dicks.
So like, you know, it's like local discount. I think it's like $15, $20 for the membership. Might be more. It's been fucking like a decade plus since. But if you're a San Diego resident, and that includes, cause like I lived in like Mira Mesa, and although I lived in the city of Mira
San
Mesa,
Diego County,
it's San Diego City. Like when I had my driver's license, it had my address, but it said San Diego, California. So as long as you have an ID and you live in San Diego, or you got somebody who can, you know, be the address for your temporary ID that you can get from fucking AAA or insurance company, you know, just fill that bad boy out. They will take that as well. And you go into the pro shop, they take your picture, you get your card, and it lets you book tee times. And you can book 7 days in advance, automated system, and you can play Torrey Pines for like under $40
on the cheap.
Yeah, like
otherwise,
that's
if you are, and if you are outside San Diego, you're paying $400.
You're paying like $400 outside visitor rates. But city residents, you could walk for $15 on a fucking Saturday. It's like, I don't think they allowed walking on Saturday mornings, but like, you know, insane. It's a city course. Insane. Your brother had a beautiful wedding there. And we got to play there, smoke stogies, drink beer and shit, watch the waves.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the most stunning pieces of earth in existence. You know what I mean? It's gorgeous. Love it.
And it was playing tough that day because like they were prepping for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I remember that when me and Lucas talked about it, but we went to the U.S. Open in 2008, and I played it like one of the last days before they closed it down, like 2 weeks prior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I threw up a 67 on South with the rough, you know, blown out. And when I saw the tournament, I was like, it's a little bit longer, but it's not that much longer. Like it was still blown out when I played.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the best rounds I played at Torrey Pines specifically, but it was only because they were having like pro level growth. You know what I mean? Like the course was in like pristine condition.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of a taste.
Yeah, putting on glass.
Glass that's forgiving though. You know what I mean? Like it's slippery, but it's predictable. So it's like it's very fun to play on. You know, like Ty would have like loved that shit.
Yeah.
And then Banff Springs Golf Club, Top of the Rock. Oh, I've heard that one too. Bandon Dunes, Harbor Town, and LA Country Club.
Oh, interesting.
What the fuck?
Bandon Dunes is like the new, like I forget, it's in Oregon.
Yeah. I mean,
think it's like a new group of courses.
Yeah. I mean, you see that name quite a bit pop up. It's not. I think it's actually in 2K. It might be in 2K.
Possibly, but I don't think there's any bunkers at Bandon Dunes, which is kind of an ironic name.
with it being dunes and shit.
Yeah.
And LA Country Club. The fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, like the one you can see from Universal and shit?
Yeah, all the Southern California.
It's like they should just throw fucking
courses.
Arcadia in there if that's the case and shit. What about California Country Club and shit? That dog shit. But yeah, a staggering list of golf courses. I want to.
And that's just like confirmed ones. Like you don't even know what
these
else
are confirmed. And 30s. I mean, 30 might be all of them, and that seems like enough. PGA West. That's going to be fun. It's always fun to go back to PGA West. Not the first game to have it. Torrey, always fun to go back home.
Always fun. Obviously, Pebble. Pebble's just iconic.
Yeah, I didn't play that more than I think twice. So it's
on
one
my
of those
bucket list.
I kind of remember
it's
that.
It's a bucket list one for me.
There are a couple that I missed. I think Chambers Bay I missed.
Chambers Bay, yeah.
And then Ocean Course at Kauai. I mean, we got some fucking heavy hitters on here, bro. And then you got Augusta. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro. What do you?
So another thing that I liked about EA was like they would have their own random courses. Like I remember there's like the jungle course.
Yes, that's why I keep saying the glacier, because they have we said that one made out of ice and shit.
Where you'd be playing in the middle of a jungle, and the next thing you know, there's like you're next to a fucking elephant.
What did they call that? They had a name for that one course.
I think it was called the Predator or something.
Yes,
wasn't
it was the Predator.
Yes.
That's what it was called.
Because it was like obviously like Tiger's like course or whatever, and of course they're playing off of Tiger. Yeah,
so stupid. I mean, I liked it though. It was
I mean, fun, what you were you were like 20 at the time, and I was
earlier
18.
than that, I think. But
no, it was probably it probably was. Yeah,
I was probably in high school by that point. It's probably like 16 and shit. Like it's like they were stupid, but they were still like creative. You know what I mean? Like there was stupid shit going on.
Yeah, they would take like elements of like iconic holes. You know the short part 3 at like Torrey Pines, and then or like Pebble, and then like make it 100 times steeper.
It was like PGA West on crack.
Yeah,
it was like PGA West unchained.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to dwell on the courses too much, but really, I mean, we got beautiful swings, we got new ball physics and interactions with hitboxes, we got the lifelike course dynamics and stuff like that, and how they're going to be adapting for these different courses. They got Titleist, they got Scotty, we got some decent graphics. Graphic fall off looks a little rough, like it stretches out like 20 30 yards and then just turns to like low res after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm going to be playing on my 30 series Ti, whatever the fuck I got in here. So I mean, whatever, we'll see how it is. It might be just a limitation. Maybe they're recording it on like a console or something. I don't know.
Right.
But the release date for that is March 24th, 2023, and you can pre-order that on Steam.
I'll be picking that
PlayStation and Xbox for $69.99 or $84.99 respectively for the deluxe edition. So not going to sit on it too much. Your boy's very excited. I've been pretty aggressive towards being against 2K, and I just think 2K is gross to begin with, and I don't think the games is going to improve for like ever. They're never going to like make the game any better.
So moving on to our next topic, we talked about last week tech businesses building new products. Well, now they're going to be laying off multiple people. Multiple. Yeah. So Microsoft recently talked about saying that they are going to be laying off 10,000 people within the next year. Google will be laying off 12,000 people within the next year. The moves will be costing Microsoft $1.2 billion within severance pay and restructuring their business.
Damn.
They also announced that they will be investing roughly $10 billion in the company that created the Chat GPT. So if you know or listen to our podcast last week, Chat GPT is basically like an AI.
It's a waifu maker.
Yeah, the waifu maker.
It's a waifu maker.
So it's interesting that Microsoft is trying to buy that company. Before, obviously, Microsoft, Amazon started the whole layoff spree this year and last year, cutting back on 18,000 jobs in their tech areas. And now Meta, also the Facebook company, is laying off 13,000 employees, all due to uncertain economy. These layoffs were bound to happen. Microsoft hired 40,000 employees during the 2021 through 2022 year. So you're bound to, lay those people off.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of talking about earlier that
it's January.
Yeah, it's that time of season. They realize that they can do with less and just like delegate more power to other people,
A
and
lot of
they
money
can,
is spent in Q4. You know,
yeah,
people underestimate how much money companies dump into your final like holiday season for everything. You know what I mean? Like
right.
from games to
Yep.
products to advertising to just pushing and
Yeah.
sponsorships and everything. You know?
Tech jobs, you'd think there would be more security with their positions, but then again, no one is safe in any company when you
Yeah.
think about how much money is being generated by them and like what they're trying to do to save money and
A lot of talk about
put it
needing
somewhere else.
unions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of everywhere right now. I know a lot in the Inland Empire area where I'm from. There's a lot of talks about unionizing
Yeah.
for a lot of places, and
I mean, I don't know how I am about unions.
yeah,
It's just it's kind of like I think certain applications of unions are like necessary, but others can be
oh yeah,
exploitative. I think the problem is again, it's
100%.
never black and white, and it's always just lumped up
Yep.
and simplified in the most stupid way, where it's just like unions are bad because they take your money and they don't do anything, and then it's like. Well, I mean, here's
I think
another
there's
company that has a union and they had to do something with that money and here's what
yeah,
they were able to do with it, you know, and
right, and I think unions are there's a good and a bad side to all of them.
I mean, when I worked in an industry that had unions, our job was to chase them off the job site and shit.
Yep.
And I wasn't really
Yeah.
given details. All I was told was they have no right to be on the job site because duh, like that's just not
Right.
how this works. And like,
Yeah.
you just tell them to leave, kick
Yeah.
rocks, give them my number, and like that's it. And I could see where there's just conflicting perspectives of that.
Yeah.
This one though, people motherfuckers having to sleep under their desks and shit to like,
Yeah.
to get things done and like not being able to eat because they're working.
Yeah.
For
I
16
definitely
hours.
obviously you think this definitely started really becoming a big topic. Obviously when Elon took over Twitter and then just instantly fired a bunch of people. I guess a point in a way, like from Elon's side of things, like why do I need you here if I know that the company can run?
Without it. And that's another
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, it's like people be like, X amount of people have been fired from Twitter under Elon's watch and blah blah blah. It's like, well, I haven't really noticed too big of a difference in my performance. It's like,
Yeah.
I get some fuckery when it comes to like likes and retweets and. I took
Yeah.
out a little thing in here actually because there is some issues
I
popping
don't know.
up. But,
Yeah, I think
and they made
Twitter's
some
running just fine.
stupid decisions with the For You tab and the Following tab, and like there's stupid shit happening. However, it's not like the end of the world. It doesn't feel like the website's gonna like crumble at any point. It feels
No.
very much the same. And you got people who are definitely like utilizing the opportunity to. I mean, I have no opinion on the dude aside from the fact that I just find him annoying now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they're vilifying him based on the type of shit that he says. Like, I could totally like side with anybody that'd be like, that dude is a villain. I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Motherfucker said that AI is like it will be the end of the world and shit. And then he's like, okay, so we're putting like AI and this and this and this, and I'm
Yeah.
working on a
AI like
bipedal robot.
and an implant for your
Yeah, here's a brain implant for you. Like, okay, so like the website's not working as great, but it's not collapsing. It doesn't feel like it's getting worse. It just kind of feels like it's not getting fixed as fast, and it's like, yeah, whatever. So it's like,
Right.
I see that. My whole issue with this, and I'll let you finish if you're not done, but it's the Sony fanboys, and
Yeah.
how they jumped on Microsoft in the beginning of this, how like 10,000 is huge, that's so massive and blah blah blah, and like can't believe they're so evil, and then literally like 48 hours later you hear like Google lays off X amount,
Right.
and then this lays off X amount, and it's just this
So-
domino effect of companies
Yeah,
that are just
and reading
ditching
into this,
workforce.
it's not like 10,000 right off the rip. This is what it's going to be throughout the whole year.
Yeah,
Like just to start, like
phasing out type
yeah,
thing.
they're gonna be phasing out positions up to 10,000 employees, maybe more.
which
Who
does
knows?
affect 343 Studios.
Right.
Rightfully
Well, any
so, though,
Microsoft acquisitions. So
Yeah.
if this Blizzard Activision thing
It's just that
doesn't go through,
the 10K isn't coming from like one department getting
No.
cut. It's like they're cutting out the fat.
right?
and
And
here's-
it was just like with Amazon. Sorry, with Amazon, everyone's like, oh, is it warehouses? Is it this, that? And a lot of it was tech companies
Yeah.
and tech positions, and Amazon has a lot of tech positions now with their Prime Video Studios and
Prime
gaming studios.
Gaming, and
Yeah,
then
they have a bunch of stuff. They have
yeah.
AWS, which basically runs half the internet. if
Yeah, well,
if
they
you
got
have
they
if
got
you have
AWS, and
any type
then
if you have any type of cloud, it is going to be on AWS.
it's like you got Prime Gaming, but you also have Amazon Games, right? Which is like
Yeah, and you
publishing
also
these. And,
you also have Twitch.
yeah, they got a lot of like irons in the fire, and it's like I can see where a company cutting the fat, like it would equate to that much. Like I get it, but
Yeah.
really, it's like. It's January. I'm
Yep.
thinking that the biggest issue with this too is that they had like, what were they in, like Costa Rica or like the Bahamas or some shit, and they were having like a I think Sting. No, they were in like Switzerland. Like Microsoft was having like a meeting in Switzerland where all like execs and shit, and Sting was there playing personal fucking like.
They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be laying off.
Yeah, then the next day,
But
they're like, okay,
let me get a let me get a
can I
a
get another
flaming-
lobster,
a-
please?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like it was basically that, where it's like they're off in Switzerland listening to a fucking Sting concert, and then like
Yeah,
less
that's
than
hilarious.
24 hours later, they're like,
Oh, that's a
yeah,
business expense.
Yeah, I mean, it really was, but that's kind of the juxtaposition that people are pointing out, where it's just like
Right.
these people have no soul. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, capitalism doesn't really have a soul, to be honest. It's not
No.
a very compassionate marketing strategy. Marketing approach.
Definitely not.
So yeah, I'm all for unions with these tech companies, and I hope they get that shit sorted out. But yeah, that does suck. A
Yeah.
whole lot of jobs lost this last week for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as always, we have the free game segment, and after that, I'm going to jump into the roundup where I got some nice little decent headlines to go through. Nothing too zany, but we got some free games for this week. Epistory Typing Chronicles, free on Epic Game Store until January 26th. It's an isometric action exploration game with a typing-based interaction and battle system. Kind of games that you play like super back in the day, right? Where it was just like you fight zombies. Remember, what was it?
Yeah,
Typing of the Dead or something like that was one of them.
building words, and then
Yeah. I think it was like House of the Dead had like a typing game where you type to shoot and all that stuff. This is the same thing, but it's kind of like a top-down isometric view exploration game. So it kind of looked fun. I look at the keyboard when I type.
It looks interesting.
I'm not good at those. Like that's what those games are supposed to like be for people that type, quickly and without looking and shit. But me, I still type with I think 4 fingers total, and I type fast. It's just it's not good for this type of game.
You are what's called a pecker.
Hey,
Oh, I'm the same
studies
way.
show, all right, that those individuals type
way.
faster and make less mistakes, all right? Probably because we're staring at the motherfucker. Next one is Haven Park. It's an indie puzzle exploration game, which is free on GOG or GOG until January 23rd. This one was like whatever, we kind of like, it's free. Let's just throw it on there.
Might as well throw it on. Yeah.
For people that don't know, GOG for me personally, though, is an incredibly heavy application, like super heavy. I like the fact that you can have all of your, it takes your Origin games and it takes your Uplay games and it takes your Steam games and puts them like all in one place. But I've never had like an application that did something like that be so unbelievably heavy resource-wise on my PC. So, if you play it, then, cool. But if you don't, you can still have an account and you can still get these games and put them on your account. And if at any point you want to come back and play them, you can always do that. So going to start adding some GOG games into the free games list. Just keep that in mind. If you have it, there's some free games for it. If you don't, hey, might as well log in, create an account, take up some free games and stash them aside. Kind of like you do with like Amazon games or whatever the fuck on Twitch.
Yep.
And then I wanted to point out Steam Rockstar sale, I guess this week. I forget when it started, but it's going until February 2nd, up to 70% off Rockstar titles. Included everything from what I saw, like everything from like Bully to Red Dead Online and, all that shit. So those are all on sale, like 50, 60, 70%. So check that out if you want to pick them up. And also on sale that I saw while I was looking around is Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is $8 right now. Not the complete edition, but just the base version is $8. Master Chief Collection is down to $16 until January 30th. We tortured ourselves Listen, Lucas and I tortured ourselves last week.
Watching that gameplay,
bro.
Whether not, it wasn't just you guys. It was literally just like how slow gameplay is now, or compared to like all the other games around.
Never noticed it back in the day, but yeah.
Hell no.
Slow,
I mean, you thought Halo was the fastest thing in the world.
yeah. And then like you look at Unreal and it's like unreasonably fast, but now that's how Halo is. So it's a little slow. However, everything about Master Chief Collection is like super dope in terms of like getting unlocks and suits and accessories and just the shit that they've dumped into that game. $16 is super cheap for all those games, dude. So a high recommendation for me. Pick that up. And we talked about it last week. Division 2, it's only $9 right now.
I actually started playing that this week again just to see.
To warm it up.
Yeah, just to see. I mean, it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Enjoyed it.
What I mean? I didn't get too far into it, so I mean, I might download that and see what's up. But yeah, your boy was a little faded last week and shit, trying to play that Master Chief Collection and shit. Hand-eye coordination was not functioning.
Man.
I was still in the headspace to be like, man, why is my hands doing what the fuck I'm telling them to do? Like, what is this? It is what it is. You're out there having some brewskis and chilling, Master Chief.
That was a lot of fun watching.
That's embarrassing and shit. But moving on to the roundup. We'll fire through here real quick. There's a couple on here that are just kind of like, what the fuck? But first one on here. Brain dead take on the internet claims squeezing through crack animations are an outdated game mechanic. Oblivious to the fact they cover up loading screens, but doubling down to say they would rather stare at a black loading screen.
It's just dumb. Like, obviously they don't get the necessity for it, but like everyone knows that, like, oh, you squeezing through a small area or like struggling to get through like a fence or a crack or a tight spot. Yeah, it's getting it's
relieving resources. It's relieving resources from the area that you just came, and it's seamlessly loading the next area in which you're approaching. So it's like, if anything, you should cherish that.
You really only see it for like RPG games.
Well, they're pointing out Jedi.
Yeah, but that's like a RPG, like obviously it's like you're going from world to world, but it's like you're following pretty much a linear.
It's a linear path
for the most part. Like, obviously, yes, you can go out and do side quests and things like that, but like for the most part there is a point A to point B structure.
I forgot what it was, like Drake's Fortune or some shit like that, or
Uncharted.
Yeah, I forget what game they were pointing out, but yeah, it's the same thing. You squeeze through a crack. It doesn't really let you go backwards, but you have to make yourself move forward. They're covering up loading screens. The whole conversation was stupid, and the way that they were talking about it was so fucking dumb. It's like, shut up. Just shut up, please. I think it was like IGN or something like that.
I mean, like, I'm completely fine with.
I'm totally fine with it.
The mechanic.
Yeah, and like the way that Jedi did it is like you hop over stuff while you're doing it. It's not as just cut and dry, as some
like
other games.
If you weren't so like understanding the process, you'd have no idea.
Yeah, and that's the point. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
it's better than like a loading screen.
Exactly. With some information on it and some like just random design in the background and shit.
Yeah, you can do this.
If you push A, you can jump.
Yeah.
Pepsi kills dog shit Sierra Mist and replaces it with new lemon lime soda, Starry. I'm mentioning this just because I had the chance to try it, and I wanted to let everybody know that it is Sprite. It literally tastes exactly like Sprite.
This is a very authentic take. I have tasted it too, and I would 100% agree with this.
It's a slight bit sweeter.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's somewhere between Sprite and I don't want to say Jolt, but maybe Surge, maybe.
Okay, or maybe even a little. It kind of has like a little bit flavor of a Mountain Dew-ish.
Yeah, like a little.
It's like, but it's more lemony lime.
It has that sharp sting that you get from Sprite, and it tastes like Sprite. But the die off of the flavor does have a little bit
like
of
a
Mountain Dew sweetness. Yeah, I liked it. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, not
was
bad.
Expensive though. Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
I drink Arizona iced tea and shit. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Or I guess Arizona fruit punch. Outlets like DeviantArt and AI companies in a potential lawsuit situation with artists and companies like Getty Images over their use of original works in their AI-generated artwork.
That's interesting.
Well, there's some of them where you see like literally the AI tried to recreate the Getty Images logo, and it's all like fucked up and like Goody Images. It's like Gaboody Boo, you know, like you can see it, but it's like the letters are all jacked up, and it's like, oh, stupid okay, AI. That's just part of the art, huh? Like, you forgot to remove the watermark.
It's like the memes of like, oh, you can copy my homework, but just change it just enough.
Instead of putting their own name, they just respelled the real person's name. That's basically what they did.
Oh god.
So that's a big one though. Like Getty Images, and I saw some other people talking about it. It's like you just don't fuck with Getty Images because they have like the most gigantic online like stockpile and library of works, you know, like imagery. People pay for it to use and shit, so you can't just take it. Not good. Bad idea. Twitter users begin to notice more and more cases of website features not reflecting correctly. Like I mentioned, likes and retweet counts just aren't showing. And I noticed on some of ours where make a post, get, you know, over the span of like an hour or two, get like 15 to 20 likes, and then it only says like 4 or 5 underneath it. And it's like, I can see like a handful of people maybe like it and unlike it or accidentally liked it when scrolling, but not fucking like 80% of them. Like that's not how, like I see these people's names and I see like their pictures and shit, you know, and it's like, so there's some stuff we were talking about it with Elon. There's some things that are starting to bug out a little bit, but it's still trucking along. New trailer for Mandalorian season 3 drops. I forget, in the middle of like a football game, wasn't it? It was like Monday,
something like that.
I mean,
I didn't watch it right away.
Charity event or something.
I like watched it on like YouTube.
Like nothing crazy for me. I'm sure if Garrett was here, he'd very specifically point out the differences between the trailers.
Right.
All I could think about was the fact is like if somebody watching this had never seen Boba Fett, like they're probably just instantly deflated.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are they back together? I thought they got separated. Like, what is this?
Right.
It still looks good. We're all gonna watch it. Let's not.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, come on, we're gonna watch it. I don't like the member berries that they're pumping into that show, but you know, it is what it is. Coachella to be streamed for free on YouTube this year. I don't know the date. I didn't write it down. Lucas would probably be pretty stoked about that one, to be honest.
I think Coachella's in late March, early April.
Coachella's somewhere around there. At the fairgrounds, is it?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. It's right before Stagecoach, or it's like Stagecoach and then Coachella, or Coachella then Stagecoach. They're like right back to back.
That was the concert that they used to have over there?
Oh yeah, in the Indio Polo Grounds.
No, I meant at the fairgrounds, the Fairplex.
No.
Oh.
No. This is out in Indio.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Coachella?
I remember I've been to a couple concerts at the Fairplex, and
no, that's just like
saw ZZ Top with fucking
ZZ Top is not playing at Coachella.
Well, no, that was the Love Ride. That was Jay Leno's Love Ride.
Okay.
I've never seen so many motorcycles in one area of my life, but yeah, ZZ Top, fucking Foo Fighters opened for ZZ Top.
That would be dope.
And then they played together at the end, and fucking
that's
you could tell that Dave Grohl was so fucking giddy, like it was like his dream.
Oh hell yeah!
This was before like Smokey died, you know what I mean? So like,
right.
This was the good old days. So much weed being smoked in the crowds and shit. It was fucking awesome. Sure. Yeah, I was like wondering. I was like, is Coachella right there?
Yeah, no, Coachella's out in like Palm Desert, Indio, Palm Springs.
They always put them out where they're just inhospitable areas that you don't want to be.
It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Like we got to make sure that in the day it's 119 degrees and at night it's 12.
I know. Yeah, even during March, April, it's still.
Like what are they doing? Like Burning Man and shit. But yeah, Coachella is going to be streamed live on YouTube for free, so you get to check out some bands, and that'll be pretty good. I'm going to probably bop in there and see what's up. Stadia users now able to unlock the controller's Bluetooth feature to work with other products.
I thought Stadia was like dead.
They're dead. They also refunded everybody everything, and they let them keep everything. So
interesting.
Kind of came up, to be honest. Like everybody that bought it actually kind of came up. They got this little weird niche device now that'll probably be worth fucking hundreds of dollars in 10, 12
maybe
years,
even thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because not too many people took advantage of it. The controller can be used now, but those are going to be finite, you know what I mean? So
right.
It's going to be a collectible. So they've basically kind of turned this whole deal in a positive light, I guess, and Hey, rightfully so. Those people that invested in that, they deserve to have their money at least returned a little bit.
Good for you. It's like the Dreamcast.
The best console
People.
ever made, for real.
I know. Hey, you're honestly not the only person that says that.
It isn't. I mean, it had fucking Crazy Taxi. It had
like
VR,
it had some
if I'm not
fun,
mistaken.
fun games. Or some
It had
super
Marvel
fun games
versus
back in the day.
Capcom 2. That was like a launch title for that. Get the fuck out of my face. That was an amazing console. Way past its time, you know. It was ahead of its time, I should say. But like, just what was going on with that device was very impressive. You know, taking into consideration that it was in a time where disc, you know, consoles were kind of on the fence. You know what I mean? They didn't know if they were going to go in that route, but they ended up going that route. But yeah, I mean, I need to get a Dreamcast. I got all the other consoles for the most part. I need to track down Dreamcast. China list Marvel ban. Release of Black Panther 2 and Ant-Man 3 announced. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Excuse me.
This is kind of like big news because
big news.
Like China was like super like on like obviously not just banning Marvel movies, but like it was like super against a lot of the stuff that was in Marvel movies with like the, you know,
they got this thing against
gay
magic.
Characters and magic and like homophobia kind of stuff.
So all of your typical bigotry bullshit. Which, I mean, America's obviously the only place where racism exists, so it's not bigotry, whatever the fuck they call it over there.
Yeah.
But, you know, they also got this thing about like magic and how it's evil and shit. So like getting movies like Doctor Strange and stuff over there was like a huge hurdle. And as of like 10 years ago, they just didn't allow American movies that had any type of fantastical.
I think the only time that like Marvel movies went there were like when, what was it, in Captain America? No, Avengers 2 or something. They had like a big like Asian star. She played like a doctor in, I think, in Avengers 2. Age of Ultron.
She was the one that helped. She was the one that was.
She was the one that
Ultron,
made.
But also
she initially made the suit of Ultron.
Yeah.
And then like they were going to use it for Vision, and then she was the creator.
Bethesda reiterates that space exploration sim gamers aren't interested in seamless space-to-surface travel, claiming it's just not that important of a feature. And what this is referring to is games like Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, No Man's Sky. The selling point for these games and what separates them from something like Destiny, from you know, a space exploration RPG type game where you fly around space freely, is the ability to go from outer space to space to then planet surface and land on the surface, get out of your vehicle seamlessly as if you just traveled there from space. Todd, he disagrees. That's not a necessity. That's just
I just think it's a great feature.
I honestly think that it's an imperative aspect to those types of games.
I mean, I think that's a big reason why, you know, No Man's Sky is like what is obviously like No Man's Sky has its history of being like, you know, what the hell kind of game is this like right now, like talking about releases. But that's like a big feature that I see that a lot of people love about the game is because everything is so seamless.
Yeah, well, you had Star Citizen who was somewhat doing it. They just didn't have very much operating. And then you had No Man's Sky that came out after that. I mean, technically before, because Star Citizen's like 12 years in, still not out.
Yeah.
Fucking waste of my money, sons of bitches. I hate reading their fucking newsletters and shit.
Oh, God.
The point for those, now given, I mean, you really got to see the type of gameplay that we're talking about here, and we have the Xbox Direct Dev or whatever, Dev Direct or whatever, coming up on the last week of January, I think it was, like 25th or something like that. But, you know, we really got to see what type of gameplay we're talking about here. But if the focus of the game is to travel free throughout, I think it said like 1,000 galaxies or some shit, or 1,000 solar systems or something, to explore, I think is the number they're kicking around. Dang. And it's like, with that number, I mean, really, you got to think of it in the terms of, it's like you're going to come out of hyperspace, which is a loading screen.
Yeah.
And then you're probably, I was getting Lego fucking Skywalker vibes, like for real, where it's like you choose your location, you jump out of hyperspeed or hyperspace. You can fly around freely and interact with things in orbit. And then when you want to actually go down to the planet, maybe you focus on the planet, it loads, it gives you an option to select it and triggers an animation where you go and land on the surface and then you get out and then you're playing a different game essentially.
Right.
That is my issue, where it's like in Lego, I mean, people who haven't played Lego Star Wars probably don't even understand why I'm making that reference, but like, it's like, it's different type of Lego game. And they have that where you jump out of hyperspace and then you can go down to the planet's surface. But it doesn't feel fluid. It feels like you're playing a game that's on rails. And if we're talking about 1,000, I'm going to say planets, 1,000, visitable planets, that's a lot of loading, man. That's a lot of like going into orbit, looking at it, waiting for you to like just watch it automatically fly down and land in a designated area for you to get out in like the same place. It may even be like this the transition period to where then you're flying in like orbit, you're flying in like, the atmosphere and you can fly around freely or what have you. But that is one thing I wanted to point out is that Todd Howard, again, insisting he knows what gamers want after delivering a fucking, a flaming dumpster fire just years ago with Fallout 76 and motherfucker. How heavy were those bobby pins in the Fallout 76? I think it was 0.1 pound or some shit like that. So 10 bobby pins was a pound of weight. And it's just like, okay. Like these are like little things that concern me and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, these are things that are letting you like slip by. And it's just with what that game ended up being, it's concerning to hear when he, emphasizes things like this. Like he knows, but he doesn't. So we will see. That's a game I'm probably going to buy though for sure. That one's a single player, no multiplayer on it. Single player RPG, space based, kind of like Fallout. The internet erupts after leaked beta footage of Suicide Squad, the game, shows Battle Pass at the top main menu.
I hate battle passes.
So do I. As long as they're free, I guess I don't mind.
But I mean, like all of a sudden you have to do is like, $25 and you jump up however many levels.
The one that killed it for me was Red Dead.
I didn't even know they had a battle pass.
Well, they have seasonal battle passes.
Seasonal. So everyone, like all the big games now have stupid seasonal battle passes.
Yeah. So like what they do
ever since Fortnite introduced them, pretty much.
Basically, well, what they do is like in Red Dead, they'll have like battle passes and they'll have some whack shit that you can earn. And typically you can make roughly the same amount of gold bars out of that battle pass that equates to about what you spent in cash for the battle pass as a whole.
Yeah.
Technically, you're buying gold, and you're getting a battle pass for free. You just got to earn the gold back. But they'll also release like rolls, so you got to pay for, you got to pay gold bars for, bounty hunter, and then you got to pay gold bars for this type of shit and that type of shit. You know what I mean? So you're still spending money and you're pigeonholed. So
So like Destiny does it too with a battle pass, and essentially, but it's like a season pass. But like you're actually paying like for like actual content with the season. So you're getting more content on the game, and then it has access to
like raids and stuff like that.
Like and like more story, more a new dungeon or raid or what have you, more gear and cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what games need to do. I mean, some games do them, especially like RPGs. Seasonal shit. Have a means of earning an in-game currency that you can buy with real money, to then drop like limited time window events. I mean, I'll admit it. I'm an Animal Crossing, New Horizons fan. I enjoyed that game thoroughly. I played that game hundreds of hours.
You and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah, like everybody. But I mean, it wasn't as like. I don't know. It wasn't like too kidsy. It was mainly just about like handling your shit, and making money. And it's
I
all
was
about
still,
making that
I was
money.
talking with a friend, or I went out to dinner with a friend the other day with my fiance, and she was still playing Animal Crossing. I was like, God damn, like
Yeah,
that game came out so long ago, but you're still hustling in that game. She's like, yeah,
I
I'm
ran out
still,
of shit. I ran out of
yeah,
shit to do. I mean, I did to the point where, I mean, if she was doing what I was doing, you probably don't need to hustle. But like, really, you got turnip traders and shit.
yeah,
You head
right,
over
right.
to
Yeah,
Reddit and
she,
hook up with some
her
turnip
and
traders and shit.
I like remembered that stuff, and I was like, oh, you start doing your stocks with
Yeah, hell yeah.
your,
Like, I mean, you make some decent money, and like when I have an island that had a big money, payout for turnips,
yeah,
I would blast it on Reddit, and then
yep,
I'd get a bunch of free money by bringing people into the island, and it was fun. People come
yep,
in, drop off free shit. I was doing it on stream, and like,
yeah,
people were coming in and like being all thankful and shit. It's good times. It's a good game. It's fun. It's
yeah,
a chill and relaxed. It can get all of my shit for a day done in like just less than an hour.
hmm,
So it's like a perfect amount of just like fuck around game, And that's why I just kept playing it for so long. But
right,
they're just, I mean, god damn it. It's been like 3 of the same exact Christmas events, the same exact like Jack Halloween events, the same exact stupid ass creepy rabbit events.
yeah,
Everything is the same. In a game where you're constantly looking to like buy anything and everything, they don't give 2 shits about like releasing content. So
yeah.
there's options out there, and
I
Destiny
mean,
did
were
it
there
well.
any DLCs to Animal
There was
Crossing?
one DLC that came out. There was a free DLC, air quote, that came out that added a cafe in the museum that has 0 purpose.
Yeah,
You can sit down and have like a drink, and then that's it. And like, then there's nobody else in there. It's just like the bartender. Then they added an island. I think they redid like Merv's Island. There was a couple other things that they did, but really what they did is they had a DLC where if you had the Nintendo Direct, whatever the fuck, the membership, then it would let you like access a different part of the game, which lets you have like a
right,
separate island where you had like cabins, and you could have like custom cabins that had a lot more design ability, and you can create houses for your islanders, like
gotcha.
thoroughly create, like design them and like put up shit and all that stuff. So don't know why they just didn't let that be the case for the shit you already have on your island, but I guess that's just not it.
Yeah,
There were some other small deals, but yeah, it was a paid DLC, and that's like all they ever did.
gotcha.
So that's kind of a bummer. I digress. That's just,
Yeah,
it's the way of it. It's hit or miss. And when it comes to Suicide Squad, you're talking about a single player experience.
that's
You're
just like
talking
a
about,
story.
yeah. And then you got beta, it's
Right.
still in beta. It didn't even wait. So yeah, I don't know why people were surprised by this point, but that was something that the internet.
I mean,
just
I just look for like
over.
battle passes and season passes for everything now.
Yeah.
If a game comes out now, it's gonna have a season pass of some type.
Yeah, and like they got to put some very specific shit inside the battle pass for me.
I
to
mean,
pay the extra.
if they give you some really unique things in the season pass, like, all right, whatever, I can see myself paying this much for for that, or getting up to that
Yeah.
item or whatever it is, cosmetic.
Hopefully there's some action towards it, at some point, but really I think it's here to stay, and we just got to get used to it.
Yeah.
Next one on here, footage of Zack Snyder's knockoff Star Wars adaptation Rebel Moon is shown online. Division ensues.
I kind of tried to watch the trailer or whatever brief glimpses of it, and I'm not too impressed.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by like glamour shots of like ships anymore.
Yeah.
It might have been cool like back in the day, but I mean, you can watch a Disney Plus series and get some pretty decent like, Star Wars shit. The whole thing with this film is that, he proposed it, from what I read, prior to Disney acquisition, and they're like, nah. And then pitched it either to Kathleen Kennedy or again to her, but also talked to her, and they're like, nah. So he's like, all right, well, I'll just go do it myself. So that's what he did. And it's basically going to be like, it's like how he did with DC, where it's like, yeah, these are like brutal characters, but they could be more brutal. Like, that's how it is. It's like Star Wars can be brutal at times, but it could be more brutal. Like, that's all it's going to be. It's going to be, I think it looks like a female protagonist, like the Luke Skywalker type character.
Yeah.
There's going to be some zipping around space and some spaceships and some more adult design type styling for, aliens and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it. It's on Netflix, you know what I mean? But
I mean, might as well, yeah, if you have the subscription.
we might have to do a drink and watch along with that one. That might have to be one.
All right.
That'd be super savage,
do our
bro.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 on
Then
that.
we get fucking canceled for the shit I'll say on that movie for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Next one on here, Wada certified 9.2 rated copy of Pokemon Yellow on Game Boy destroyed by the U.S. Customs Agency. Like, the picture of it just shredded. Like, they ripped it open with just no care whatsoever. It's disgusting.
A piece of my heart
Just
like crumbled.
Yeah, I saw the picture. I was like, I don't even want to read this article for. I can already tell. I know the entire story. Like, they don't give a fuck. They did it, and what are you gonna do?
I wonder how much that game cost. Like
$80
valued.
Like $80. Probably like $100. Not that bad. Like, but still, it's
still like that's
rated,
like memorabilia. Like,
yeah, I got a copy of Yellow in the living room. You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's just, you can still go to the shop and get it. It was the fact that it was in a box that was in good condition. It looked sealed, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And they broke the casing, the rating, everything. They just shattered it open like it was nothing.
Right.
Like, this is what did you see inside the box, idiot? It's a fucking pamphlet in a small square.
A small
game.
yellow square, yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, oh my god. Like, there should be repercussions for that type of shit. Where it's like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes they do need to be held accountable, and if they need to fess up like $1,000 for doing that, then so be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, Yellow version. I feel for this guy. A moment of silence for that guy. All right, moving on. Theatrical trailer for Hogwarts Legacy drops. Steam game now reflects February 10th release date after having changed it to the coming soon last week. I'm not sure if we talked about that.
We like on our side chats we talked about it. Obviously, you said you're not watching it, right?
I ended up watching it.
You ended up watching it? All right, because I know at first when I think I posted it in chat, and you're like, I ain't watching this shit. I know it came out, but I'm not watching this shit.
Well, because what it is supposedly it's the intro for the game. It's not just a trailer. It's like the first thing you see when you get in the game. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to like ruin it, but it wasn't anything anyway.
But like, isn't the game you're going into your 5th year?
You get recruited, like you get taken in, like in that trailer,
right? But you would be going in as a 5th year, not like a year 1 student.
Yeah, I mean it's a completely different vibe if you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be like, it wouldn't even be a YA like type situation.
I mean the trailer looked awesome.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, they had
dragons.
Nick, I think, was in there, and the owl and stuff. But that is like the intro credit scene for the game.
Okay.
After I watched it, I was like, oh, it didn't show anything, but
yeah,
still amazing. Can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Was going to talk about all the bullshit online, but I don't even want to get into that conversation because
we'd be on here another 2 hours,
and we would be canceled for like no reason and shit.
Yeah.
But just because I like Harry Potter so much that I don't care who wrote it or what their personal beliefs are, because it's not reflected in the books and I don't perceive it that way, and I appreciate it, so I like it. And I don't want the entire dev team and studio to lose their jobs and go under strictly because the person that made that content would be punished. They wouldn't even fucking notice it. She wouldn't notice the money. She's not going to notice the money. They're not doing anything.
Someone literally pointed out that J.K. Rowling was wealthier than the Queen of England.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, she knows how to work a contract for sure.
Yeah.
But I promise you, she does not give two flying fucks about the money she's going to make from this game. Like, it's nothing to her. It's nothing to her. It's the shit that you find in like her car seats and shit, between like her seat and like the center console. Yeah. Shit. This is what she drops. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally nothing. You're not doing anything. You're only doing negative. You're only negatively affecting people's livelihoods. People who truly love this story and this world and have dumped years of hard work into bringing this to people. And people are like, no, if you like this game, then you're a transphobe and you're this and this. And it's like, excuse me, bro. Like, if you said that to me in my fucking face, like how, like, I'm not going to come back with the whole, like, oh, I got a friend and blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm just going to fucking just, like, drop your ass for saying that shit. Like, how dare you? Like, even imply such an offensive thing. You know what I mean? Like,
because I like a game.
Because I like Harry Potter. You're going to call me, you know, some type of phobia, you know? Like, it's just... How dare you? It's not how life works, people. Like, just move on. If you don't like the game, don't buy it. It's the best way to vote with your money. But,
I mean, and yeah, I mean, voice your opinion and all that, but it's not going to change the fact that people like the game, the series.
Well, there was a conversation. If you look in our tweets, it's like there was a conversation where I wrote where somebody was like, she wants to see an entire like group of people eradicated, and I was like, what? And I was like, where did she say that? Like, where did she say that? Like, please link me that, because I'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
But no, then they're like, well, like, she implied it. She agrees with so-and-so. And then, like, some other person came in and was like, that's not what she said. She said this. And then the person responded, like, why are you such a transphobe? Or why do trans people scare you so much? And shit. I was like, this person is living in their entire own world of rationalization. Like, none of what they're saying has any merit, but they're saying things that are legitimately wrong to individuals. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say shit like that. It's wrong.
Right.
It's not a matter of like, you know, it's inaccurate. It's just wrong as in terms of respect and being a human. You just don't do shit like that. So,
I mean, I'm still going to play the game.
I already own the game. Wait for that shit. I'm gonna get that pre-install on my early release.
It's 20 days away, actually.
Yeah, it's less than that, actually.
Less than that.
Oh, we in this. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Microsoft plans to incorporate AI into every product they offer.
It's those new waifus they bought.
Yeah, and ChatGPT is in there. But it's like other shit too, you know, like everything. And that's terrifying.
Yeah, your waifu is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be in your microwaves, your stove,
I mean, literally, Microsoft is quite a bit of shit, not just like computers. You know what I mean? So it's kind of scary. And there's going to be AI, like, you know, built into your applications and all this shit.
We're going to have the paperclip guy.
Clippy?
Yeah, Clippy. You're going to go. He's going to be the new AI.
I need to get a Clippy shirt. That's right. Now I remember. Next one, scientists have possibly found a fossilized dinosaur embryo. Oh my God.
This is interesting. I saw the picture and it just looks like
a big peanut.
yeah, exactly.
Peanut.
It's like, really? Like that's an embryo?
I knew what it was when I saw it. I didn't even need to see it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Like, here comes Jurassic Park.
Either that's a fossilized nutsack or that is an embryo. And sure enough, it was an embryo. A terrifying prospect. Mankind cannot be trusted with anything of such.
No. If we know anything from Jurassic Park, yeah.
I mean, we're already on our way to Terminator and shit. So what the fuck?
Yep.
Boston Dynamics shows off Atlas robot plotting out routes, manipulating obstacles, climbing surfaces, and completing objectives before doing a somersault into a perfect landing, making this week an incredibly jarring reminder that the future may just be way too crazy for us to handle. AI-controlled mechanized dinosaurs that can do somersaults.
Yeah. This is it's always shocking to see these videos come out. Like, one, obviously they're impressive, but like two, like it is like jarring and scary that this shit's very close.
The movement is very weird because it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting the movements of the body to the point where it's very human. Now, given I've seen the behind the scenes where it takes like 500 takes to get this thing to do exactly what they need it to do, and it's not just a one shot and all that. You know what I mean? It takes like days to shoot it and stuff. But it's still, motherfucker did like a side turning somersault or whatever and landed like a 10-point landing and shit. It's like, oh my god, it's like, this thing's gonna have AI at one point. Like, oh my god. Terrifying prospects. We are not the type of being to be trusted.
I mean, now we're making like horror movies with AI.
Yeah,
the new Megan movie just came out.
Yeah, I saw some of the promotional shit. That movie got a lot better reception than I thought it would. Researchers find that UV nail polish dryers are insanely harmful, causing genuine DNA damage and destroying skin cells at an exponential rate with mutations
Does it?
and
Yeah, I was
such.
about to say, yeah, mutations.
Yeah.
Tell my girl not to go to nail salon anymore.
I mean, you could tell her that I think it was like 20 minutes of prolonged exposure killed like 70% of skin cells or something.
Jeez.
Like, in one sitting would kill like the majority of the skin cells being exposed.
I don't know if she uses that type of gel where she needs to
It's a clear,
like
it's a
put
clear
under.
resin. I use it in
Yeah.
art. And I also use a UV light. I wear glasses, like sunglasses, when I do it,
Yeah.
even though it's just a little handheld light. I bring it up because you do use UV curing for like 3D printers and stuff. However, those are typically encaged in some type of filmed, casing, to where the UV lights are mostly blocked. And in this particular case, chicks are taking their nails and sticking them in the little devices, and the lights are just beaming down on them.
Yeah.
Don't know why it takes that
direct
long.
skin. Yeah.
Shouldn't take that long. UV resin normally cures in seconds, but I guess they're talking about like prolonged usage for like 20 minutes and shit, which I guess is similar to like tanning beds and stuff like that. So people were getting all pissed off that there's even a concern about this, but it's like, our job is to find things in products that are
Right.
damaging and dangerous, and this is definitely in that category.
Yeah.
We're literally doing our job, so I mean, this is totally justifiable. So keep that in mind if you're doing like your gel nails, which I consider that art to be like totally cool.
Yeah.
It's like miniature painting, it's like but for
Right.
chicks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe second thought on that one might be in store, because the UV rays on that one are super dangerous. It turns out. Google has announced they are now working on their own Apple AirTag alternative.
This is interesting.
Had the babies have the AirTag on when we were at Disney World.
Yeah.
It came in pretty handy. I mean, we didn't have, they weren't like swooped up or anything like that. But like when I would walk away, like it would tell me, and it's like, oh, you're leaving a tag and blah blah blah. And it's like I left him
Right.
with his mom and shit, and I went to
Right.
get like a drink or something. Places like that, I totally see it. However, I wrote on Twitter, keep in mind that this is the company where their original slogan was "Don't be evil," and as of like 2018, made a conscious decision to remove that from their code of conduct,
Yeah.
and no longer use "Don't be evil" as their slogan. So I'm not sure if that's the one that you're going to want to have like their own AirTag tagged to you or your devices or your
Yeah.
vehicles. So
I mean, they already know where you're at with like your
for the
phone.
most part, but you really don't need to give them any more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That pings every, X amount of minutes off of cell towers.
Yeah.
This would ping every single time that it gets within range of another device. So
Right.
it's a very accurate depiction of where you're at all times. So Apple in that regard, Apple bad, yada yada. I get it. They have at least a little bit of fight in them when it comes to protecting people's privacy. They have told the government to fuck off numerous times and forced the
Yeah.
government to go find their own means of getting backdoors. So
Right.
at the very least, that they don't like to risk encryption and the safety and privacy of their users and stuff. So I'd rather stick with Apple. English actor Julia Sands goes missing while on a hike at Baldy Pipe in Southern California. I don't know if this is Baldy Pipe. You're in that area. Do you know?
I don't. I have to look it up. I just saw the article not
They're
too long
still
ago.
looking for him. So
Yeah,
it
that's
happened, I think, last Saturday.
Damn.
They're
That's
talking
crazy.
about avalanches too. So he must be higher than
Yeah.
a dam.
yeah.
We talked about on the live stream. I was flying over it in flight sim. Used to go up. I lived in SoCal, like I said, and Baldy Pipe was like right there, like 10 minutes away. We'd go up there and like fuck around, smoke and shit like that, and just dick around. High school, not high school kids, but like college age kids, and just I guess if you take one of the side paths off that I've never really like ventured off to, like hiking trails, maybe, but really that
Yeah.
pathway is pretty straightforward
I
going
mean,
up there.
So I was kind of looking at the weather that we had this last couple weeks. California got, I think, the Sierra Nevadas, which is kind of where Southern California is at the bottom of that. We roughly got around 30 feet of snow. Like
Heard it's
throughout
beautiful.
Yeah,
Heard it
yeah.
looks
I'm
gorgeous
sure.
down there right
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure Mammoth looks amazing, as well as like all the
Bishop
others.
and
All those
Lone
other.
Pine and all that.
Yep.
No, not Lone Pine, but Independence and stuff.
So like even the local mountain resorts like Big Bear, Snow Valley, Mountain, all those guys got a
I've
good
just
amount
been
of
seeing
snow.
pictures of just the area, sky looks fantastic.
Yeah.
The green is
Green.
popping, grass is grown. I saw a map of the drought. It's basically gone, like
Yeah.
I was saying it. My mom was bitching about the rain and all that. It's like, you need this. Like, you're gonna get some houses taken away. You're gonna get some
I think
cars
they
floating
were
down
saying
the street.
it was like with all the storm like collected, it would have been like 11 inches of total rain like at once.
Oof. Yeah.
Like, which is obviously for California, like
That's crazy.
That's a shit ton
That's
of
crazy.
rain.
Yeah, that's super crazy. Up here,
So,
it's like a week.
Yeah, that's like a
it's
standard.
sad.
But with California's infrastructure and like it just couldn't handle it at all.
Well, the ground is so dense and dry that the water just doesn't absorb fast enough, and you get flash flooding, and that's just always the case. Streets aren't maintained for that shit, so you get intersections that are flooded.
Garbage, freeways that are flooded.
I was in my Corvette and I was driving through Upland and shit Montclair, right where the mall is, to go to Montclair Plaza, right across from where Circuit City used to be. And it's fucking like knee-high water. And I'm in a Corvette where if I open the door, I could just lean out and kiss the floor and shit. So fucking water was like halfway up my door and shit. I get it, but really needed it, dude. Like,
for
sure. Bear through it, and now we're probably gonna have a pretty solid year. It's gonna probably be a fucking amazing spring harvest, and like fall harvest.
Yeah,
like it was needed. It looks gorgeous down there. I'm happy. You need that, especially for Central Cal, and even getting up to like NorCal, which is a little bit more wet, but. You got a lot of farmland in Central,
Central and
Paso Robles.
Mm-hmm.
The orange vines or the grapevine.
The grapevine.
The oranges is what I'm thinking about.
Oranges, yeah.
I can smell it.
But I mean, you got like the San Francisco area where all the vineyards are and whatnot.
Yeah, we need that, and then you need Nestle to steal all the water so that they can bottle it and sell it. Because that's why SoCal doesn't have fucking water. Because Nestle.
Yeah.
Disgusting, deplorable, disgusting company. But like we said, it's all based on the fact that this actor is missing, and it said the Baldy Mountains, like the Baldy Hills, so that's literally right up there.
Yeah,
they're also talking about avalanches, so it had to be pretty high up.
It's possible, yeah.
Not as low as what I'm sure it is, but probably a little bit higher.
Yeah, so. he must have been like closer to like the summit.
Yeah, which is high. There's, if I'm sorry to say, there's no surviving out there for a week
without any
type of,
or if you're buried in an avalanche or anything like that.
So it's a very grim outlook on this one, but maybe he has that knowledge, maybe he has that ability,
maybe he's a gangster and knows knows what to do next.
It's not the coldest,
Yeah,
not being trapped at the top of Mount Rainier and shit, but it's pretty cold. Elon Musk's decision to restrict third-party API has quietly slipped into TOS, with the company stating they would be taking stricter action toward companies that they perceived as breaking TOS. And like I mentioned on Twitter and in our Discord, that it may negatively affect our retweet bot. I haven't seen any negative effects yet, but that has been quietly slipped in there.
Yeah, we'll see it probably in the near future.
Our Discord,
if anything gets,
whatever.
For now.
Yeah, I do like that bot though, and I think it's totally cool if people were in there and like reading it, because it is feeding like everything that we find, and it's a nice live, quick update, and cuts all the bullshit that you typically get on Twitter. But I guess that's what he doesn't like. He doesn't like the fact that people can't see ads. They're getting content, but they're not giving their eyes. They're not giving their click throughs and their ad watch time and that type of shit. So. We will see, but as of right now, head on over to Discord, give it a follow, hop in there, see what's up. Random Tron 3 announcement titled Tron Ares, and we'll star Jared Leto.
This was very random. I mean,
I was like, what?
It's going to be Morbin time in Tron 3.
I did watch that, by the way.
Was it? I still. What is it on? Is it on any streaming services?
Yeah, it's on HBO. I think it is.
It's either HBO, maybe Netflix or something. Or
It might be Netflix.
I don't know.
One of the two.
I'll have
It's
to
on one
look.
of them.
I'll have to watch it.
I will say this: I consider it better than Venom.
Really?
Yeah, Venom is dog shit, bro. Don't even fucking try to like justify Venom. Venom is
No,
dog
I'm
shit. I
I'm
hate
just
that
curious. Like,
no, it's ass.
okay.
Like, I remember I watched it with the chick, and
Yeah.
and we watched Venom, and she's like, "That was bad." She's like, "It's like funny bad, but it's really
Yeah.
bad." This one was bad too, but at the very least, it was like a story. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Jared Leto's acting. You know, he's not, you know, being all like weird and like over the top. Some of the CGI looked kind of cool. Sometimes his face looked kind of cool.
Right.
The guy, the Doctor Who guy that plays like whatever, like, not a big fan, but all in all, you know,
Gotcha.
It's like if they were to make an Incredible Hulk movie now compared to like the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie,
Right.
where it's like it feels like it could be included, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, it feels off, and that's kind of how that one feels. Where it's like, this feels like Blade. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like like kind of cheesy, but like not self-aware cheesy. So I don't know, whatever. Just today, I was adding these at the last second here. Jason Momoa releases yet another cryptic video on Instagram, excitedly leaving the WB offices after having a meeting with Peter Safran and James Gunn. And then in a, I think, Variety panel pretty much immediately after, because he was wearing the same stuff. And he was excited, dude. Like, he was screaming. Like, he was, like, super happy. He's like, I can't tell you. His typical shit.
Yeah.
And then at that Variety, like, panel or whatever, he says, I'll always be Aquaman. But he also did mention that, you know, he might be possibly playing other characters for DC too. Lobo. So, no confirmation. Although I did want to point out that when he showed up to that and somebody had seen his video, somebody was screaming in the crowd, Lobo? Is it Lobo? And I watched that clip and watched Jason Momoa's face, because he looks into that guy's eyes and he was going to say something, and he like, you could see in his mind he backpedaled. He's like, nothing is better right now. Saying nothing is the best thing. Yeah. Because if I say no, then that's something. If I say yes, that's something. I'm just not going to say anything. But he had that look on his face, like, and then just like walked away.
I need to tell you,
yeah. So he wants to say it. This one's going to be Lobo. I'm down. Invincible Season 2 teaser drops, states a late 2023 release. Did you watch Invincible? I know I asked somebody.
No, I haven't. I need to.
That's a cool story, to be honest.
Yeah.
Last one on here. Crystal Dynamics announces end of development for Marvel Avengers, saying their most recent content update will be their last, and one final performance update to drop in late March, just before making all in-game content free for all players.
Well, that didn't last long.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett and I played quite a bit of that on stream, and I still play it from time to time. It's an incredibly frustrating
you and I
game.
were playing when it first came out.
I mean, I played a little bit longer, but it's like, I didn't play too much of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like being those characters and doing what those characters do, but like, they didn't really make a very fun environment to play it in. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I
could see it. It's kind of bummed. I texted it to Garrett, but he didn't even respond. So I don't even think he cared. He's like, whatever. Yeah. I'm happy I never spent money on anything now, though. I mean, I'll play it once the shit shuts down and I get everything for free. But some of the suits are like the cosmetics in the game are dope. You know what I mean? Like, I have the because you can earn in-game currency, the same currency that you buy. So you can earn it or you can pay for it. So it's a good practice. You know, like you said, it didn't take very long. And that's why I put it on here, because it's kind of a bummer.
It was only a couple years,
2.5 years.
Yeah.
So if you're into that game, I apologize. Don't spend money. They kind of put that out there too. They're like, we're not going to allow anybody to spend any money after a certain point. So just don't spend money. Play it, enjoy it, and kind of how these games work is that slowly over time their servers will become more and more ass. It'll be more and more impossible or less possible for you to actually find players to play with, and then eventually it'll just become a queue simulator. So So yeah, in and out with the plug as per usual. You can find us at Nerd Chatter Show is our handle on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find Nerd Chatter Podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, including Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, and basically anywhere else you find podcasts. Make sure to subscribe or follow while you're there. Appreciate that. All of our episodes are uploaded on the YouTube channel where we do weekly live streams. Like I said, Kenny and I are going to stream some 2K, some PGA 2K here after the show, and then tomorrow and Saturday I'm going to probably stream a little bit in the afternoon as well, and have a good time. We play various games, drink, chill out, bullshit a little bit, progressively get more and more belligerent as the night goes on. If you could support us, there on the live streams with like subs and likes and on YouTube and stuff, that'd be much appreciated as well. If you'd like to support the show, you can head on over to our Discord where we have free games, everything you'll need to know and stay current with for the time being, as I mentioned in our roundup. But those bots are still functional. You can also support us too on Patreon, where you can find additional segments, behind the scenes, monthly commentary tracks that we're going to start firing up here probably before the end of the month, hopefully, and get that going. So that's pretty much it. Kenny, appreciate you being here, my friend.
Always.
And I might push for that because Lucas will probably be on the show next week, so I might push for a commentary track if you got that night off. And
I'm always usually free on either Friday nights, Saturdays, like we normally record.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll kind of play it by ear, but we want to dump like one commentary track for like movies or shows or whatever for like once a month at least. So we'll get into that. So check out our Patreon. We're gonna head on out of here. You guys take it easy. Like,
peace.